Picture this. You're in front of your latest prospect, closing the biggest deal of your life. Your pitch decks were perfect. Your scripts, flawless. And when the time came to answer the golden question of, are you ready to move forward? Nothing happened. For everyone who loves sales, this is their worst nightmare. But fear not, because in this podcast, we're unraveling the enigma behind those missed opportunities. From appointments that evaporate to presentations that felt like a Broadway show but ended in awkward silence, we're dissecting it all. Welcome to Love Your Sales.
This podcast is presented by GenHead. GenHead leverages AI so small and medium-sized businesses can find their ideal clients to make more sales. Other companies talk about AI, but we are using it every day to drive down marketing costs and increase revenue. Learn more at genhead.com. That's genhead.com.
Welcome to another episode of Love Your Sales. I am really excited today because I am joined by Angela Lingle, the lighting lady. She is the owner of Design Go Lighting with 15 years of outdoor lighting experience. You have lit everything from a flagpole to an entire village, bringing everything to what illumination, I suppose, would be the right word. But Design Go Lighting is an outdoor lighting company that offers truly personalized experiences that cater to all levels of involvement. And I'm really excited to talk to you about this today, Angela. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Leighann. I really appreciate the opportunity to share information today.
Yeah. So, why don't we start first? You know, when I hear outdoor lighting, I think, oh, let's throw a couple of, lights on my house and, that I can see when I drive, home. But you bring outdoor lighting to a whole new adventure and experience. And I'm really excited for people to kind of, check out your website and some of your posts on LinkedIn, but explain the difference between just throwing a couple of outdoor lights and what you do.
That is such an excellent question. What I do as a lighting designer is try to put together the most beautiful effect with the fewest number of fixtures. I think we've all driven past that property where it's just lit up and it's too much. We've also driven past that property where it is almost depressing at night because there's so much beauty in the architecture, but it has just the fixtures on the outside of the house, and one is warm and one is cool, and it just doesn't present well. Mm-hmm. So when you have an opportunity to work with me or an outdoor lighting designer, what we do is we look at the architecture of the home or the business, the beauty in the nature around us, meaning trees and things like that, the outdoor living space that they have. What do they see when they look out of their windows? And how can we bring that enjoyment to that space into the evening hours? And then finally, what security and safety concerns are there? Are there stairs? Are there dark spots in a wonderful neighborhood, but there's been a little bit of crime? What can we do to make that home so much fun to come home to each night? But then also, what is the purpose behind each fixture? And how do we bring that all together so it looks absolutely beautiful as you go by, as you come home? But again, with the fewest number of fixtures, each one having a purpose, and whether it be an up or a down light or a path light, what do we need in each situation to make it unique? So it doesn't look like somebody just rubber stamped some uplights on the house. How can we make it much more welcoming and more thought out? Yeah,
That's
I guess that's a long answer, but
no, but
yeah.
that you it's clear that you have passion for what you do because just in the way that you explain all of that, which, you know, for me, the mundane person when it comes to lighting, you know, first of all, when you drive up to my house, it's a nightmare. It's dark. It's the first thing I do is I push my button for my garage door because you can't see my house. It's dark, it's dreary, and that's actually my entire neighborhood right now. You know, we don't have a lot of lights and you don't I guess you don't think about the safety. You don't think about it for all of the but the beauty of it, the to be able to see a house lit up, to be able to have a clear path for guests who are just walking up. And right now during this time of the year, wow, wouldn't it be so much nicer to actually have proper lighting where I can see where I'm walking when I'm taking the dog out, you know, outside to do his business.
Yeah.
Um,
You know,
and we do so many other things in our house to create environment,
mhm.
but we forget that there's other pieces that we can do to create that ambiance that we want so that when we're having a party,
Mhm.
we can flip on some really cool lights that cater to that.
Yeah, I just had an appointment last night in Heartland, and one of the things that I offer is an outdoor lighting demo, so I can show you exactly what it would look like at night, before you make any decisions or as you make the decisions. But it is exactly as you described. It is on a country road, completely dark.
Yep.
And so unless they remember to turn their lights on for their kids when they come home and things like that, uh, it is a little bit scary. And she described they have a detached garage because it's an old farmhouse.
Right.
And her daughter came home and called her and said, "Can you turn on the lights?" Because she didn't want to walk from the detached garage to the house in the complete darkness. So we met last night. You know, the ground is getting ready to freeze, so we're limited on what we can do yet this year. But we put together a simple plan. It's 5 up lights on the house and then 1 down light on their stairs because safety. They have a 99-year-old grandmother who will be coming for the holidays, and it's always been a struggle. These stairs have always been a struggle, and that's actually how the conversation started, is I
Right.
can help you. But then to just add those 5 uplights on the house, it is beautiful. They can add to trees and things like that in the spring, but right now for their immediate need, every night at dusk, their house is going to be illuminated with the soft downlight going on those stairs, and it's going to stay on until dawn. And it's going to go on every day automatically without any thought. It's going to factor in daylight savings time. It's just beautiful.
See, it's these are the brilliant things that, you know, these busy people. I was going to say business people, but it's not, that's not just related to just busy people. Like I can't remember to flip on the lights before I leave when it's light out because
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about, oh, I'm leaving when it's light out, but we're coming home when it's dark.
Yeah. You know, and just along those lines, I really pride myself in being a lighting resource as well as a lighting designer. So, in that situation, and I just shared this with my favorite networking group, I recommend GE makes an amazing dusk until dawn bulb that you can buy on Amazon that you just put it in the fixtures on the outside of your house and it will go on every night at dusk. It'll go off at dawn. Make sure you get the warm white because that's the pleasing color. But it's a wonderful place to start. I know as an outdoor lighting designer, sometimes, and then any up lighting that we add to your home is going to match that same color
Right.
usually, or I can work really hard to make that work. But a lot of times we're in a tricky situation where we can't get wire right by the front door. And
Right.
so that's how I discovered these bulbs. But so we can bring those fixtures on the outside of the home into the outdoor lighting plan and have
You,
everything work together.
you
But
should
for it's just a wonderful place to start.
You should negotiate a contract with GE for selling
Yeah.
their bulbs here.
Seriously, I've shared their links so many times and people have taken so many pictures of my bulb. I should have, yeah.
Can't take the sales out of the sales lady, right?
No,
Or the
it's
or
true.
the sales the out of the I'm sorry, the lighting lady. So let's talk about your entrepreneurial journey a little bit.
Sure.
It's never a straight line, but I'd love to learn a little bit about what drove you. You had the launch of your business not too long ago, which is amazing. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Let's what was the pivotal moment when you said, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to open up my own business.
Well, it has been, a journey, and it started, well, over 15 years ago, with a beautiful outdoor installation at my home. And it was like I became obsessed, and I was like, well, what if we added like something in the trees? And I could not stop. And I just dove in, and it's so much fun to have my own business that is actually also my passion. Do you
Right.
know what I mean? Like, I will do demos all day long, or all night long, I should say. Where some outdoor lighting designers will stay away from it because it is labor intensive. It does take up your time. I like absolutely enjoy it. I love showing people the options and having my vision come to life in front of their eyes as they're putting together their lighting plan.
Right.
But fast forward to, how did I find myself in this situation today? You have highs and lows and everything. And last year, about this time, actually, it was this a year ago today, my husband had some health concerns. And it ended up being fairly. The good news is that's all behind us and he's 100%. With that, though, I had to take a pause. And I took what turned out to be 6 months off just to make sure that I was there for my family and being, um, just focusing on what's important.
Right.
And then it came time to, okay, now that that's behind us, what does the future look like? Do I go back? Do I start something new? And I realized when looking at the industry as a whole, that my passion was designing, and I really wanted to build something that was my own and that could grow. It sounds strange, but on my terms. So I
Mhm.
could lean into like demos and things like that. I could spend my time um, where I always try to make a win-win situation, where just whether I'm meeting with the client for the first time or the fifth time, it's fun and we're, going down that lighting road together. So I have been able to do that. And then as I've put that together, I've also thought about all the home shows that I've been at and all the builders and the landscapers that I've met with over the years. And I thought, there is really another opportunity there, which I believe um, I don't see any outdoor lighting designers or companies really trying to be a resource in this area. And that is kind of where the name came from, Design Go Lighting. But if you are a do-it-yourselfer, or if you have a new home with just the foundation, meaning, the beginning of the landscaping in place,
Right.
there is not a need to spend a great deal of money on labor. I can help
Interesting.
you put together a phenomenal design, get the fixtures in place that fit your installation, meaning, is it just the most cost effective solid brass fixtures that go on and off?
Mhm.
Or is it perhaps the next step up where you've got some zoning and dimming so you can control the different areas? Or is it full color changing from an app on your phone? What are the fixtures that you need for your installation? How does that work? That's where I can be a wonderful resource.
Right.
And
So
yeah,
so what is, you know, you've been in this industry, you understand this industry. From a sales standpoint, how are you coming in differently, or are you coming in differently than you have in the past?
yeah. No, I completely understand what you're saying. And I think part of what I'm doing now is having conversations about the opportunities, the possibilities, budgeting a more, I think in the past, I've always talked about when putting together a plan, I always tried to present options,
Hmm.
so, as I just mentioned, is it just the standard fixture, zoning dimming, or color changing, so I could
Right.
help the client make decisions, help it work around their budget. But for the first time now, also having that conversation about the installation.
Okay.
What makes the most sense?
Right.
Is there an opportunity here perhaps to cut the cost of outdoor lighting in half,
Oh, wow.
and have the same final result? Or on the other hand, working with a landscaper who is in the ground already, maybe is designing the hardscape lights because they built this beautiful outdoor kitchen, but they don't illuminate the tree that is 10 feet away. So,
Right.
working with them as their partner, helping build their business, offer outdoor lighting as part of their installation, and then doing the work behind the scenes to
Right.
make sure it works flawlessly together.
Well,
So,
and
mhm.
Angela, that makes so much more sense, because if you're already digging in the ground, why have somebody then go back and dig in the ground and ruin the landscape
Yeah.
to lay any wires or anything that you would need for your lighting?
Uh, exactly right.
And
And by taking that approach to working with the landscaper, going in at the same time, it does a couple things. It keeps the cost down for the homeowner. Yeah,
right,
like you said, you're going in once. The other
right,
thing it does is, boy, it makes that landscaper look good. Do you know what
right.
I mean?
Well,
Like
it makes
you're
everybody
investing all this money. Do you
right,
want to enjoy it at night? Do you know what I
right.
mean? Why have it go
Absolutely.
dark at night?
Right,
And even if they don't, even if they're like, what, I appreciate that, but we're not going to do that at this time. You've opened up the door. You've made it an opportunity for them to perhaps consider in the future. I just think it makes you look uh, the very best you can be. You know what
right.
I mean?
This
I,
this is this is new small business. We
yeah,
we as we as small business owners are figuring out that, well, why aren't we working together? Why aren't we as small business owners working together to help in all different aspects? And what businesses make sense as affiliated partners to work together? So, a landscaping company, an outdoor lighting company, even
water feature.
a
Yeah,
water
a
feature. I
water
was
feature.
just I was just thinking,
That's
because
another podcast because yes,
right? That's a whole,
putting those in place. Yes,
because
it's just a win-win.
you had a gentleman who does all water features at your party, that he puts in, different type of water features, from very small to extremely large,
Yes.
even natural swimming pools, which was insane. So those, let me tell you, if I'm going to put in a natural swimming pool or a pond, I'm going to want to see it. you
Yeah.
know, so I mean, it's a brilliant, and a lot of businesses that exist today that have been going for a long period of time, in my opinion, this is not a fact of any, but they have trouble shifting to create those new partnerships because they're just been chugging along, doing really well the way that they're doing it. And I hate this old, you know, don't break it if it ain't, or don't fix it if it ain't broken. But business is shifting, and the way that people do business, is shifting. And it sounds like you're doing it right away.
I appreciate that. And I think you're exactly right. It's rather than working as all these different or individual businesses, the ones that really make sense to work together, form that strategic partnership, do those home shows together,
Yeah.
put the lighting next to the water feature with some beautiful information about lawn service. I mean, it just makes sense. And then on the other side, I really believe, and maybe that's why it all works, is as I meet with a homeowner and I spend, like an hour and a half with them, walking around, taking notes, drawing their property, I can't help but notice opportunities for them to enjoy their property even more.
Right.
And it's such a win-win to be able to share, I know somebody that could really, be a resource in this area. After our meeting, I'm going to follow up with an email introduction. And, I hope that's helpful kind of thing.
I
But
got to get
it's
you out to
just a win-win.
I got to get you out to my property one of these days, because you're going to be recommending a landscaper, the lighting, the water feature. You're going to be
But it
or maybe I
all
shouldn't,
comes
because that's going to be
together.
expensive.
No, no. But but you mentioned it earlier. We spend so much money on decorating the inside of our home. It is amazing how much fun it is to spend some money on the outside of your home,
Right.
because and really it's fantastic in the summertime when you're out there and the sunset is going down and you're still enjoying all the lighting. But right now it is amazing because it gets dark. Well, we know, my goodness, 4:30 at night, it's
Right.
almost dark. So what do I see when I look at out? I don't see darkness. I see the most beautiful trees at a season that all the leaves are gone. So now the character of their branches comes
Right.
out. And I see my hardscape and it's just beautiful. So, and now what I do is I swap out color, red and green bulbs in my path lights and things like
Yep.
that. And so it's like instant Christmas with just swapping out some bulbs, but I absolutely love it. So I guess the reason I mention it is year round, whether you're outside coming home to it or inside looking out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And what just popped into my head when you said, the trees, the way the trees look. There was a night when we had a full moon, a complete full moon that was bright, bright, bright. And we had just had fresh fallen snow last year. And we all know when there's fresh snow and the moon is full, even in the darkest place, you can get that reflection where it seems bright. And I have a picture of a tree in my backyard that is just illuminated by the moon and the snow. And I remember thinking, wow, this is one of the most beautiful natural looking, well, it was 100% natural. And we had a heavy snowfall, so that like the snow was just hanging on the trees. But
Hmm.
to be able to look out and see that all the time, to see, and I have a lot of wooded, you know, area in my backyard, but to be able to look out that and actually see it, like, it would be amazing. And I can't see most of my tree. It's too dark. But
Yeah. One of nature's most beautiful things is an ice storm.
yeah,
Oh,
I not when you're standing in it, but when you're looking
no,
out at it,
when you're
absolutely. Yeah,
when you're
when you're
inside
inside
looking
looking
out.
out. Yes.
Yeah, it's
It's
gorgeous.
it's so cool being able to see the snow, but you can't if you don't have any light and it's pitch black, you're standing at the glass going, "Huh?" Right?
Two things I have to mention real quick along those lines. One is because I get this question all the time. Uh, when if there's a blizzard or snow, do the lights continue to go on? Do you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
is that going to cover the lights and they're not going to work? Fortunately for us, even though they're LED bulbs, burning very cost effectively, they do burn warm enough that they're going to melt the snow Usually, yeah, if it's falling, they're going to melt the snow if it falls. If
Right.
it falls all day long, it's going to take a little bit of time once those lights go on at dusk for that to burn through the snow, but then they're going to be working, and it is beautiful to watch a blizzard from inside.
It's so awesome how passionate you are
Oh,
about that. I mean, if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. You know,
no, yeah,
it's and again, you're speaking to somebody, who loves what she does as well. So you and I are completely on the same page when it comes to that. It's the passion just oozes out of you.
yeah. And the other thing I just want to mention before we go any further is you mentioned the natural beauty of like the moonlight,
Yep.
and what that does to a tree. And it's kind of like in the summer or when the sun shines, you get all these shadows of
Yep.
the branches and things like that. Well, one of the things that we offer, and I just did an installation like that, is coming down a driveway. Maybe typically they had trees on both sides, so they'd go up light, up light, up light,
Yep.
and you'd come down, beautiful. But we took a different approach. We did downlight, downlight, downlight. They are up in the trees with branches in the way. And so as you come down the driveway, it feels like moonlight taking you down. It is so beautiful. So that's why, talking about as when we started, the most beautiful effect with the fewest number of fixtures. It's just brilliant. Do you know what I mean? One fixture up in
Right.
the trees illuminates a large area. There's no maintenance as far as snow removal or anything like that because everything's up in the trees.
Right.
It just makes so much sense, but it's kind of sometimes out of the box thinking, but I guess just circling back to beautiful lighting design takes advantage of like the beautiful trees and things like that. And how can we replicate, the beauty of, what nature would give us so it does feel very natural and not, real harsh or anything like that.
Right. So we are coming to time, but I'm going to hit you with a hard question. So it's not that hard. And then I'll give you, a 30 seconds pitch where you can kind of, pitch your company but if you had, to reflect on this journey thus far, and you had to, give advice to somebody who is considering going out on their own, or, a salesperson struggling, to try to figure out, how to level up, what advice would you give somebody from everything that you have learned and, over the course of your career? Would you still choose the path you've chosen? What advice would you give to somebody?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. I guess I would because I have never been happier and more excited about my future. And as I meet with people, I just I, I just have a passion now that has been elevated because it's my own and because um and this is what I would recommend to people is whether I'm meeting with a customer, whether I'm in a networking situation, whether I'm talking to my kids, it is how can I help you today? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is going on? How can I be a resource? And so I think when you're always thinking about the future and thinking about the person that's across from you, and how can I lift make their day better or be a resource to them, it ends up coming back to you. And, that's not even what's on your mind, but it ends up happening just about every time. So I guess I would say look to the people that are closest to you or that you think that you could be a real resource for, and go ahead and go out there and do it and be the best you can be. And I think you'd be surprised on how many people are going to take notice.
Mm-hmm.
and kind of follow your journey as you go along. The other thing I would mention is we talked about it earlier, strategic partners. Look for those people that have the same customer base, form a relationship with those people so it's genuine and you believe in them and they believe in you. So when you get in front of your customers, you can talk about their companies like it was your own. Form those partnerships, see what you can do together, marketing wise, whether it be home shows, prints, advertisements, whatever it is, websites going back and forth together. Make the most of those relationships, because then it just goes back to that win-win-win. All of a sudden now it's not just a win-win, it's a win-win-win. Your customer wins, you win, and your strategic partner wins. So
Yes.
that's
You have a true servant heart, and that makes for a an amazing human being and somebody who's going to truly succeed when it comes to making their clients happy and
oh, yeah.
cultivating those relationships. So that's amazing. Now you have a 30-second pitch if you would like to offer up how to reach out to you if you are looking for lighting. Take it away.
Well, thank you so much. Again, I appreciate this opportunity. I would welcome the opportunity to be an outdoor lighting resource for you, your home, your business. We talked a lot about illuminating your home and making it fun to come home each night, eliminating dark spots, dangerous steps, at the same time as just increasing the beauty of your home. So, love to be a resource. A lot of times that starts with a phone call talking about how I can help. And then scheduling the best meeting time. Is it an hour before dusk? So we can talk about your needs and then go ahead and put up some fixtures and see what it looks like. And I can do that all winter long. So I welcome the opportunity. The other thing I just wanted to mention is I do help businesses. I think a lot of times people drive past an established business and you do it 100 times, and all of a sudden I call it, it's almost like white noise, but it's light noise.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so there's an opportunity there to add beautiful uplighting, color changing lighting, just something that taps people on the shoulder that says, you know what? We are here. We serve the public, whatever their message is, I can help with that. So I would just love to be a resource. Homes, businesses, landscapers, builders, just about anybody who's looking to add a little sparkle. I'd love to be a resource.
And how can somebody reach out to you?
Oh, I have a wonderful website, designgolighting.com. I'm on LinkedIn.
Yep.
My email is angela@designgolighting.com. And feel free to call me and text me on my cell phone, 262-893-6558.
And all of that contact information will be in the show notes. So if you are looking to reach out to Angela, please refer to the show notes and you will be able to find that information. Angela, thank you so much. This has been an awesome conversation. I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, right back at you, Leighann. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Love Your Sales. For more, connect with Leighann on LinkedIn and be sure to subscribe to the show and leave us a rating and review. We'd love to hear what you think. Looking for a way to take your sales process to the next level? Visit us at loveyoursales.com to find out more about how Leighann can take your organization to new revenue heights. And be sure to join us next time for more great ways to love your customers so they love your sales.